After a person adopts a new diet, there are some changes that occur in your body and in your metabolism. One of the questions that I received this week is after a person that's part of our Concussion Fix program adopted the Concussion Fix diet, noticed that there were some changes in bowel habits. Also that there was an increase in feeling a little bit more gassy. So this applies to people that are going through a change in diet, specifically in the concussion realm, but also with any sort of diet. So in this case, the gas and bloating can be to do with, as this person pointed out, dairy products. They were including some dairy products. And if you're sensitive to a particular food protein or a sugar, in the case of dairy, it's lactose, and there's a number of proteins that are found in dairy products that you could have a food sensitivity to, then there could be an increase in gas and bloating. But if you're already eating dairy before and you've continued to do that, just changing the diet won't increase the gas and bloating. In that case, then you start thinking about some other things. So one of the other things to consider is that usually most healthy diets also include things like a higher amount of fruits and vegetables, particularly. Even things like legumes and cruciferous vegetables specifically, they can be pretty gas producing. And so the bacteria in your gut will work on some of the fibers that are found in these fruits and vegetables and can create more gas. Also, in this person's question, they noticed that they were not going to the bathroom as often. They were not having bowel movements as often. And if you're avoiding processed foods, specifically if you're going gluten-free, one of the biggest sources of fiber in a person's diet is gluten-containing foods, specifically wheat, cereals, breads, and foods in that same category. So this could be one of the reasons this reduction in this type of insoluble fiber can increase constipation. Now, this can be offset by doing a number of things. Number one is if you're suspecting foods that you're sensitive to, get a food sensitivity testing done. I know there's a lot of information out there about the accuracy and the sensitivity and specificity of these tests. Are these tests really accurate? Can they be relied on? And I think that there's a lot of technology that's available to customers that is not very reliable. However, the technology that we use in my office, I really think is in line with the highest level of evidence. And the 15 years almost of experience that I've seen with my patients, I do think food sensitivity testing does play a key role as part of the puzzle to try to figure things out. Now, there are sometimes reactivities to foods that the food sensitivity test does not pick up. And that's where you're going to still have to do a little bit of trial and error. If eating sugar or drinking alcohol triggers a lot of symptoms, I would be avoiding those. So that's one. You want to look at food sensitivities and avoid those. Obviously, if you're eating new foods, there's an adjustment period as well. So sometimes it's a bit of patience as your microbiome adjusts to an increased level of vegetables, for example. Take an observation and reflection on what you're eating. And if there's been an addition of something new or a subtraction, let's say like something like fiber, then maybe we need to add some of that back in. And that's some of the recommendations I made, some of the suggestions I made for this particular member as they were kind of trying to navigate the frequency of their stools. So there's some non-gluten sources of fiber, like for example, rice bran or even psyllium husks, flax seeds. These are all great sources of fiber that, along with adequate hydration, is going to help move the stools. So expect there to be some sort of adaptation to any sort of new diet and troubleshoot that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the diet that you're starting is not good for you. And ideally, you'd be working with a healthcare provider if these symptoms don't go away after a couple of weeks of a natural adjustment period to try to troubleshoot why this might be happening.